in so many words about what happened last time here in this game.
We talked to Nettles, who told us to go collect some green blood sap from certain trees out into the swamp that it said would take a few days. We expressed a little bit of concern after a meeting with Edith, was her name? Who was like distraught that we were leaving the town right after some calamity befell it. But we tried to ease her feelings to no avail and left anyway.
I encouraged you all to accept a pie.
Yeah, that did happen. But then we set out in two boats anyway, seemingly ignoring her. And then Theo was attacked by a snake that did a lot of damage, knocked her out in one snake bite.
Was Theo attacked by a snake?
Yeah.
I was.
Yes.
And immediately after that, we ran into a small halfling child who was singing on the river, and was attracting fish that way, supposedly. And when we asked her about some, I don't remember what the character's name. She didn't know the name of some character that we'd asked her about, and I don't remember the details. But she had a hard time remembering that exact detail.
You didn't know the name of the character you're asking about. You asked about. She said that she knew a man.
Yeah,
who taught her the song originally.
Yeah.
When you pressed her, she said, "Actually, I don't remember."
Yeah, I remember, because we were thinking maybe that was the same type of song that happened at the inn, but we don't really know. Anyway, after that, we did learn to sleep on the dry land and not on the river, since things come out at night on the river, apparently. Unsurprisingly. But then we were attacked by a big swamp creature it's a scaly creature that I don't think we saw very well. And then we met with a hag.
Or crocodile or something.
Who seemed to be not what she appeared to be, but also knew quite a bit about the swamp and the town that we were from, which was a little concerning.
She gave you some parting messages to
That's true.
Insights into your lives that she probably shouldn't know, for the most part.
Right.
She also knows the person that nobody knows the name of.
Yeah, but she told us not to worry about it.
She did.
No, she didn't. She said that she just can't tell us because it won't matter because we won't remember.
Right.
Isn't that why she's... Okay.
No, it's more like, what's the point?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, and she said, hey, don't worry about what they're doing. It's not a big deal. And she seems like a very trustworthy person.
She's also significantly more massive than her current form, but we don't trust that person.
Oh yeah.
Just wanted to get away from her.
I think that was around the time that we all decided that it was bad things were probably going to happen to the town by the time we got back. So, but we're already out here. We out here
living. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good summation. Anybody have any details that they want to add to that? If they haven't already?
I mean, it was very obvious that the lady was somehow involved in what happened at the town.
I think so too, yeah. She said that she had said something of note that I thought was particularly interesting. She said she has tons of eyes and that she can see a lot of things. And then she gave Belinda like a literal gigantic jar of petrified nude eyes.
Yeah, so obviously she just meant it in the very literal sense that she has tons of eyes.
I don't think
she also
that's
has
true.
A wall with eyes.
I don't think that's true. I think she has like literal vision all over the place in the swamp.
You're reading too much. You're reading too much into the text, clearly.
Speaking
the DM telling me I'm reading into it too much.
Oh, what were you saying, Belinda?
The walls of eyes were like moving and staring.
Correct. Some of them were. Correct. Some of them were. That is definitely true. Your jar of eyes is not moving. She gave you a couple of items. Do you recall that?
I just remember the jar of petrified eyes and then 2 potions or something. I don't know.
No, she didn't give you potions. I think that you guys got those earlier. But you did get
Oh, that's right.
a
Edith gave us 2 potions.
you did get a couple of not I'm missing my book, which is
You talking about the
deal.
potions?
No, not the potions.
No,
She
we
gave
got those
you
from
a
Edith.
map of skin.
I don't remember.
Oh,
that
I don't
part.
remember that.
A map of skin.
Yes. Well, it's a map of the map that is etched on skin. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
she
I got that.
also gave you a whistle.
Oh,
Don't
I
listen
remember
to
the
this.
whistle. I don't
A
remember what it
tiny
was for.
skull that you can
Yeah.
use to contact her if you go off a ways into the swamp.
What?
That's right. I have the whistle. The whistle skull.
There it is.
What kind of
I do not remember that literally
skin
at all.
are
Tiny
we
skull
talking
whistle.
about? I don't remember the map.
She handed it to me.
Did you? And you took it?
Well, yeah. We were.
Huh,
I didn't want to
Wow.
anger this thing.
Unless it's
This
dwarf skin,
thing.
I'm really not worried.
what kind
Yeah,
of
it
skin
can
are we
be
talking about?
skin of any type. Well, as you guys are hitting the river again, that happened fairly early on in the morning. You guys hop back into your boats. No sign of the creature that she called Gresh, which had at one point in its jaws, I believe, Story.
That did
And
happen.
Sure did.
she saved you from certain death.
Wait, this
Uh,
morning, did we sleep there?
You did not
No.
sleep there. You slept
Okay.
the night before out on the
That happened like really early in the morning, if I recall correctly.
Correct,
Like meeting
correct.
that thing.
and so you're still 2 days journey ish away from your destination. But you guys are hopping back into your boats, moving away from this hag's cottage, and I think you had already done so. The fog cleared rather rapidly as you guys departed from that area. Its arrival was heralded by some crashing and thrashing in the night that I believe a couple of you guys took note of.
Story heard it.
That's
And
generous to say I took note of it.
Yeah. yeah. He was pretty big on his soup at the moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so
he heard it, woke me up, and then we started eating soup.
Yeah.
Stew.
As you do.
As you
A very
must,
dwarven
honestly.
distraction.
You guys are on the task that Miss Sasha Aberna had sent for you. She gave you a little bit more information about what she was looking for. And she told you that you're seeking after these trees, these witch willow trees that are, and she mentioned this. They're in the territory of some bullywogs. She even mentioned specifically that they spawn there, like that's like their breeding ground to some extent, or that's where they raise up their people. And she gave you some advice on how to deal with them. So we will pick up the story as you guys kind of floating on the river, almost aimlessly at this exact moment. You guys are coming out of this mist. You have your items in hand. You have the immediate threat and danger of this woman behind you. Yeah, go ahead. What would you like to do?
I want to know if I noticed this map that's exchanged hands.
Yes, you do. You would have noticed that if you were not unconscious in real life.
Yeah.
I don't know who possesses that. I have the skull whistle.
You got, I thought you got the map too.
I think she handed them
Maybe I
both to
did.
you because
Okay.
Yeah,
you,
I didn't even know there was a map. I don't remember that at all. So I
Yeah,
would
that's why I'm focusing in on this map right now.
Is that like? I assume that would mean that we could actually see the map in the game. Is that?
that is incorrect.
No.
I knew it.
Wow.
May I
I give you a map you
Borrow.
cannot see.
that map she gave you?
Aye.
I want to inspect it because it was said that it's obviously made of skin.
Yeah,
What kind of
absolutely.
skin is this made from?
So you guys are
I'll
floating
show
on
her
this
the
river.
map.
I'm pulling
Hand it
up
to her.
how you guys were originally in the boats. So I have Theo, Belinda, Ballywick, and Okri in one boat, and I have Tyrion, Holgrim, Story in the second boat. So yeah, you guys pass this around Okri to Belinda. And Belinda, I would like you to make. Well, what are you trying to discern from this map?
I think you know exactly what I'm trying to discern from this map.
I want
I am
you to
suspicious
say
this
the
is made
word.
Yeah,
of
you
human
need to
skin.
tell him what that is.
Yeah.
I suspect this is made of human skin.
Okay.
I could be wrong. So I'm curious.
Yeah. No. Go ahead and make a.
I'll help her.
pull up a fucking character sheet for one. So I just know how this game's played.
Well,
What's he looking for around
Story,
here?
let it be known, Story's only concerned if it's dwarf skin, not human skin.
Nah, it's,
Yeah,
well, you guys,
Okay, I
are.
am looking
Right,
for
right.
those of sentient creature skin.
So
that
as you guys are
not...
doing this, are you,
Well,
you
it's
taking
skin.
a
Are
kind
you
of a
worried that it's a certain kind of skin?
Well, it's just that it has, there's a tendency for certain creatures to maybe flay. I don't know if you need to worry about that quite yet. You know,
Well, I think
Theo
whatever's
would
happened to
understand.
whatever this
Maybe
belonged to already happened to it.
I can help you look at it.
Is
You
there
might actually be a
useful
better person
information
for
to
looking
glean
at it
from it,
than me.
knowing what it came
So,
from?
Okri.
I will
and
assist
Belinda-
somebody.
Oh, okay.
You were looking at it. I said I was.
Well,
gonna assist you.
you're the person who's in it.
I will assist you.
If you're trying to discern the skin of this map, I would like you to make either a medicine or nature check. I would even take a survival check. Any of those types. And if you want to do investigation, I'll give you investigation at disadvantage. Someone's helping you, so you can make a straight roll.
Balances out. If I don't do investigation, I get advantage.
Yes.
Investigation is the best one, so we're gonna do this.
Okay.
Not, no,
and then
we're doing
someone else-
nature
someone
actually
else-
because I can't. Yeah.
Someone else
14.
is also looking at this. I know that Okri is helping Belinda, but it sounded like Theo also wanted to look at it. So
Yeah,
if you
she
want to
did.
make a separate
Yeah.
check, go ahead. Of any of the types that I have already described.
Oh shit.
Very nice.
That is exactly why I wanted Theo in on this shit.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, so Belinda, you are unfurling this scrolled map, and as you do, its texture is very unnerving, and it is very familiar to you at the same time. And as you unroll it, you can see inscribed on this map, almost like veins. Theo, you see this as well. Almost like veins, you see this swampland, supposedly, unfurl before you. And there are blue veins, red veins, green veins that's in some way, shape, or form denote what she, assuming that the hag was speaking truth, rivers and pathways through the marshes. And it almost feels, as you're touching it, that it is alive and moving.
Holy
Belinda.
shit.
Ugh.
It feels not. It feels not unlike your own flesh, Belinda. I will say that. And as you kind of unroll it and unfurl it, you can see what is just a thriving world. And at times, these pathways change from red to blue and blue to green, very subtly and slowly. And at the center, there is what is very obviously a a blotch of a mass that denotes the primary lake or lagoon that is what makes up the nation of Green Coin. It is the nation or the lake that most of the commerce trades on. But there's all these tons and tons of these sprawling veins. Theo, I'll send you a quick message. Let's see.
I am locking eyes with Theo as I'm like holding this map carefully in my hands. I will lean forward slightly and say, "Do we tell them?"
Hmm.
Then you can do with that what you will. I'll go ahead and copy paste that into your notes that I, for some reason, did a goof on. There we go. Boop. And shared notes should not just be a me available to utilize. Permissions, add members or roles, players, done. Okay, so you guys should all be able to access shared notes.
Cool.
Yes.
You also have character notes.
Yeah, character notes.
It's kind of the same thing.
It is similar. We're gonna go ahead and can I archive this channel? Because I
mean,
feel
you
like
can
this
certainly
is.
make it not show.
I'll just say old character notes.
You can like move it below the voice channels.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, that way it's just physically out of the way.
yeah.
Makes sense.
I'll look back at Belinda and just like shake my head a little bit. This
Yeah.
is
Do you guys have like a visceral reaction to this at all? Like, would I notice anything?
Make an insight
Really?
check.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
Belinda's pretty good about hiding her
I would like to look at Belinda's
reactions,
reaction
but
since
I
I'm
might
holding
have
it
a
out for her.
why don't you
slight-
both make Theo and Belinda? Why don't you guys both make a deception check?
Okay.
I see a Theo deception check. I don't see a Belinda.
It
Okay,
takes
there's
a second. Wow.
Double 11s.
Yeah.
to both of them. This is very unnerving. That's very plain to see. But also, Okri, as you are immediate vicinity to them, this is kind of an unnerving thing to begin with. This is a very gross piece of parchment.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm storing it, then I feel like I would know.
Yeah.
have we
Well, this is
seen
your-
maps
this is the
like this
first time.
before?
No. No.
Shouldn't
No.
grow too reliant on this thing. It is tough to be around. Just keep it stowed away, unless we absolutely get lost or need it.
Belinda might mumble something under her breath.
Perception check. Just kidding.
No. As you guys are kind of inspecting this further, you do notice fairly clearly a few almost like clogged bumps that kind of pop up on the map as well. And as they do, that's when you see some of the paths diverge and change. And just holding the map in front of you, there's just almost like a tiny little gold point that with Theo knowing generally where you are in this swampland, you can discern fairly easily that you are this little gold speck.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. But that answers that. We are on this live map.
Yeah.
This map of writhing flesh, as I've labeled it.
That's a very descriptive name.
So we can.
Seems
It
appropriate.
tracks our position. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It looks like it.
It's tracking
like
us,
the
but
Harry
as the
Potter
swamp
map,
changes,
but
it
way
seems like we're
grosser.
getting the input too. It sounds like correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but it sounds like because it's a swamp, so things change. It sounds like it's updating as the swamp is changing.
It seems to be so.
Well, squeamish or not, if we are going to use it to get back to the town faster to save people, I can hold this map if there's no one else who has the stomach for it.
I don't have any mind carrying it myself, but if you'd rather carry the map, you're more than welcome to have it.
It bothers me a little.
But we've already
But-
made our way out into the swamp for 2 days. I think we should finish our quests and come back.
As fast as possible.
We can even use the map to expedite our travels.
That's true.
Aye.
That's good.
I'll hand the map to Belinda, making a facial expression that is betraying my haste in wanting to get rid of it from my own possession.
I was really surprised at your coolness about holding this map, but I will very carefully hold it in my hands.
I'll
Okay.
brush off my hands.
Are you still holding the skull whistle?
Yeah, I'll hold the skull whistle.
All right.
You have the flesh map now, Belinda.
I'll
The
mark that.
heat of the day is kind of coming upon you as you guys begin to paddle once more or pull, depending on what the situation calls for. And you guys are continuing on the path set before you. Are you utilizing the map itself to arrive at what you assume to be your destination, or are you?
I'd like to.
I think that we
assume
should.
that's the point. I would hold it for Theo since Theo is so much better at this kind of crap than I am.
But you're holding it, you personally.
I will
Teamwork.
personally hold it. I would prefer to
Her
hold it
personal map
for
holder.
her,
I would rather not hold it.
which is exactly why I'm willing to do so.
But it's so familiar to the touch.
It's
It,
very familiar.
Yes.
As it were. You guys continue to move upriver. The heat is rather oppressive, as are the buggies, as they come out in full force today. I would like each of you to make a
Fuck
Constitution
bugs.
saving throw.
oh boy.
Rip.
Okay.
Surely they can't get past my 19 AC.
Yes, that's a very good point.
If we all fall to mosquitoes, I'll be very sad.
No.
Lyme disease.
Yeah. So, Ballywick, Oakree, this heat's just fucking ridiculous. This swamp is fucking ridiculous. It's hot, it's muggy, you're sweating bullets, and also the bugs are literally drinking off of you.
Gross.
In just so many ways. And you guys both take a point of exhaustion by midday.
Ooh.
Oh
boy.
How do I add exhaustion on here?
Um,
I'll find it. But okay. Rip.
yes.
I
Are you
long the
thinking
days of the
beyond?
heat of the mines without any of this mugginess or these fucking bugs.
I'm going to place the map on my lap for a second, whip out a fan from somewhere, and gently start fanning in your direction.
I break out my bagpipes and cast bardic inspiration on myself. Please go, please
Nice.
go, please go away. I'll swat you cunts down every day.
My.
Holy
you know,
shit.
for the briefest of moments, they cease to persist, but they're ever present, and they don't they're not bothering the rest of your party. You guys are all frustrated and flustered as the rest of the day continues. And so far as you can tell, you're making good progress. You never have to leave the water during the day, and it's shortly after midday that you guys starting to get a little bit of grumbles in your tummy. You're getting a little hungry. You stop
eat a
to
horse.
eat? Are you eating rations on the river? What would you like to do?
Do we have like
Yeah, we got
MREs?
some rations.
Yeah, we
Basically.
picked up rations before we left with like all of our
Oh, we don't have to cook anything.
potions
Very
and
nice.
stuff.
You also
Story,
have
you
a
got any
very
more of that stew?
one of you has a pie that
yes.
was
Yeah, where's the
crafted.
pie?
Oh,
I would like
yeah.
I would like a slice of the
Let's
pie.
take a piece of the pie.
All right. So, does anybody want to claim
Really
that they
going to,
have
like
it?
4 different accents in 2 minutes.
Did I take the pie when I told everyone else that she had pie?
We
It's certainly
definitely
possible. Remember.
pocketed the pie.
I mean, I wouldn't be attempting to eat pie in the boat, probably myself.
It's,
Pie
you know,
would-
I will not, since I am also holding a mask.
got
That
a
sounds
bit
like
more
that would be
sense than
dangerous.
that, but
all right. Well, Theo is able to retrieve it from your pack. Let's just say that you have it
All right.
in your pack, Belinda. As you pull it out, Theo, it looks in gorgeous condition, wrapped with some cloth. You unfurl it. It looks delicious. You take out some small cutlery, or a dagger to slice off some chunks of this bad boy, and immediately as you cut into it, it is very obviously writhing with maggots and
Oh,
just
man.
completely disgusting.
Let me get this pie.
Ugh.
This pie was given to you by Edith Wiles, the partner of Gallon.
Mm-hmm.
This is rather strange. I thought pies lasted a bit longer than that before they'd start squirming.
She's trying to make some sort of weird symbolism here.
Anyone want
mean-
this still?
it would seem obvious to me that it's just an artifact of visiting that hag. No?
Right,
Maybe
it does
Edith
seem
didn't
that
like us.
Don't discount
that's
that.
possible. Or she's in with the hag, who could know?
No, she obviously wouldn't be in with the hag, but maybe
What hag?
I don't think that's obvious.
you don't remember the hag.
The old lady who walked like a giant.
Oh, she was a nice old lady.
Okay.
She
You
had
know
a
the-
roll of eyeballs.
The filthmonger.
Yeah, probably the nicest hag you'll ever meet.
Anyone want this?
Maybe
No.
it's best
No one
for the
wants you to
fishes,
discuss the
Theo.
pie.
I chuck it in the river.
Okay. It splashes into the river, and you guys kind of are moving along at a pretty slow pace. It kind of pops back up as you start to see fish and other creatures
Oh,
going
Theo,
for
what
it.
about fish?
But you also
With
notice
fish?
as they're starting to break it apart, pie looks perfectly fine. You see the medley of fruit in it and the gooey,
The
yummy
fuck?
Oh, that's
crust.
so good.
Wait, we all saw it wriggling?
Oh yeah, it was definitely like she cut into it and she's like, "Oh, this is disgusting." And you
Can I
guys kind
grab
of
it
all
back?
take a
We
moment to look.
all
You threw it
we
into
all
the,
looked and we
into
all
the
saw it was
river.
wriggling.
It's a couple feet away. You could pull back to where it is, but it's also being
Devoured by fishes, which would also be
demolished by fish. They're going for it. And so if you would like to, you could try and retrieve something from it.
Upon seeing
Yeah, I
that,
want to
oh, go ahead.
just see if I can grab a chunk and if it's still berries.
Go ahead and make a Dex attack roll, whatever you like. You can add your proficiency.
Attack
try
roll?
and just to pluck some of it back out.
Is that like a saving
I
throw?
want to see Theo catch
No,
a
just
bare hand.
just an attack. You can just make an attack, whatever your
Uh,
proficiency is, and your model.
Hope it didn't go.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay.
Critical.
Because Theo's a beast.
You kind of, you're the first one. You toss it and you see it splash. You're the first one to notice something isn't quite right about the change, and you first one to notice that, oh yeah, indeed, it's fine, and you quickly snatch it out of the water as quickly as you can, after noticing the change in its appearance, and though now quite soggy and gross with water, it's mostly just dirt and other fecal matter of animals run off all the things that happen in the swamp. It looks like a really solid pie. I mean, it was fruity. It looks wet now and gross, sort of, but it's feasibly possible to eat.
Alright.
There's maybe like
Anyone-
4 portions of it left.
I'll wait until we kill something later. But
You know what? I'll take something that hasn't been contaminated, and I'll have a serving.
did everyone else did see that, right? I say
Yeah,
they look there.
everyone saw that.
Aye, looked like it changed when it touched the water.
The
Don't
water
think it-
magic.
More like
No, I
probably
think
this map is probably cursed in some capacity.
Well, then it would probably only affect those who had touched it, but everyone saw that. No, I think the swamp is
Or
Or
more
it has
cursed.
some kind of aura around it.
Probably because we're in the domain of that thing.
I think Bollywood has about the right eye of it. I would suppose
But
the
certainly
entire
the
place.
river is also the domain of the hag, and it was fine in the water after she threw it in.
Does the air smell like weird, or is there anything else that stands out as odd, like some kind of like natural phenomenon that could be affecting our perception? I don't have good nature. I would suggest that to somebody who maybe might be more familiar with the swamp, like Hilgrim.
Anybody following up on her?
Get it right, Lassie.
Go ahead and roll
I'm
nature.
sorry, sir. Do you have a last name?
No.
I'm sorry, sir. Hilgrim.
Sir Holgrim.
Apologies. I was gonna say sir last name, and then I couldn't.
All
Yeah,
right.
so-
All right. Well. Yeah, I can tell you anything you want to know about the swamp. Anything.
Yes, you can.
Okay, what was that thing we just encountered?
Event, the phenomenon.
A hag,
I
I think.
Hag, true enough. In regards to the immediate surrounding that you are in, Holgrim, and what you just witnessed, there does not seem to be anything off or abnormal about your experience. Other than that, the what appears to be an illusion was dispelled by the water. It is a normal day. It's hot and it's gross, but there's
That's
nothing
about par for
in
the course.
nature that is describing to you that you are under the effects of some type of spell, or there's no abnormalities in your surroundings. There's no blurred vision. There's nothing. It just looks like you're in the swamp. So there's nothing that calls to you in nature that says, "Oh, something weird is going on here."
Pretty average day. Smells like shit. You feel like shit. Welcome to the swamp.
What
Is
a
there
coincidence.
Like, if
You
I,
look like
I
shit.
want to sniff at the pie, is there anything like? Is it really just berries now, or is there something wrong with this pie?
Aside from a little bit of sogginess, this pie is a pie. And A delicious looking one at that.
I'm gonna bite it.
I'm already had. Where's me slice?
Theo is a beast.
So Theo, you take a bite into a portion of it. Like I said, there's 4 portions remaining. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
As Theo is doing this, I will give you one long side eye as I kind of like look at everybody else. Wow.
It is the most delicious pie you've ever tasted. The texture's a little bit off because it got wet. But holy smokes, that Edith can cook. And you receive 5 temporary hit points as you consume the rest of your portion very quickly.
Does it taste just fine, lass? Is it alright?
Best pie I've ever tasted.
Now you can see her countenance change as she eats this. Like, she's got some hesitance as she takes that first little nibble, and then she just starts scarfing it.
I'll hold out my hand.
Holy smokes! Like she just has got this beaming smile on her face.
I'll hold out my hands expectantly.
Toss you a soggy piece.
Yeah, where's mine?
Aren't they all soggy?
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
this one boat's just eating all the fucking pie.
I'll
So,
consume my
yeah.
piece or chunk
Yeah,
or whatever.
if Ballywick and Okri are desiring portions, it's readily available. And
Dude, 4 crits in a row, bro.
Whoa!
What's the likelihood of that?
that is actually insane. What?
Yeah, we're wasting them all
Okay.
now. We're just wasting them all now.
Holy
It almost makes
fuck.
up for my 2 times rolling a 1 on advantage
This,
test.
That's
was
one.
20
That's 1 in 3.2 million chance.
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Well, each of the people who have taken a portion of the pie, you guys receive 5 temporary hit points. So Ballywick,
Very
and Oakley,
nice.
you guys can all mark that.
As people are eating pie, Belinda will say, just as a side note, this might not be the only time we encounter such an illusion, and it would be best if we didn't try to randomly, like, let's say, attack each other or the boats or such things. Just give pause, is all I'm saying. She's watching people eat pie, and, like, that's all soggy and, like, fish poopy and, like, really disturbed.
It's so good though. There is one portion still available to whoever would like it that Theo has in her hands.
If you want it,
I'm
I'll
just down in some
I can
rations.
try and clean it, Belinda.
I'm all right, but no, I'm okay. Maybe there is another. I'm sure we can find something else eventually, and if not, that's all right as well too.
Anyone back there want this piece of pie?
No. No, I think I'm alright.
Oh no, I've got the stew.
You guys say that, but you're looking at all of these other people who are just like, you know when someone takes a bite of like really good food, like their eyes open up a little bit wider, and you know you haven't had any yet, and they're like kind of memeing at you, like, you need to fucking take a bite of this, and that's how every single one of them looks at the people who've eaten this pie.
that really filled the
Yeah,
hole.
I'm gonna.
And not in the way Kyrian likes.
Jeez.
Carrie's
what?
too young for this.
Yeah, Kyrian, by the way, is not looking good. That boy looking tired as hell.
Even though I got the crit on that roll, I do not succeed, I don't think, because I just realized that I was exhausted. So that's actually an 11.
It's okay.
So do I lose those
stew
temps?
was that?
Do I get?
Sorry.
Am I sick?
You get the temps. It was a
Okay. All right.
It was a DM fake out.
Well, it was a fake out.
As
You
it
briefed
were.
our gnats.
Yeah, I griefed all those gnats from you. No, yeah. So, yeah, It's delicious pie. But if you want to stow the rest of it, Theo, and let it dry out, perhaps it's almost literally impossible because you imagine nothing dries out here. And so
I was gonna eat it if nobody else wanted it.
okay, go ahead.
Do I need to
There's
make another con save?
no. There are. I just do it because I want to make sure that the roller is not busted.
It's not.
I don't
Or
know
is
correctly.
it?
All is right in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the
I
karma.
feel like this would be a screenshot worthy post on
Truly.
fucking 5
What
natural
if it
20s
was
and a natural 1. But no, it is delicious. But you sense that there maybe is diminishing returns to the positive effects of this pie. You can only have so much pie. All the same, it is delicious. And nourishing to the body. As it were. You guys have solved the riddle of the pie. And you continue upriver as you are headed north. Pulling along your way. The day continues, hot, exhausting, pestered by bugs. Seemingly less so for the people who have consumed this pie. I would like everybody to once again make Constitution saving throws, and the people who have the temporary hit points, make them at advantage.
I have natural immunity from living in the swamp, so
No.
I'm sorry, what was I rolling for?
Constitution save.
Okay.
To contest the swamp's
Jesus, dude.
oppressive spirits. No, you have advantage from eating the pie.
Oh, very nice.
So you, Okri, are fine. Story is fine. Belinda is fine. Theo is fine. Holgrim is fine. And Ballywick, you need to make one more roll, but you do have advantage.
Need all Constitution.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Ballywick is fine, but Kyrian is not looking good. That boy is... Whew, is he sleepy. Getting bags under his eyes. The swamp is not treating him kindly. You guys continue until the light of the sun starts to dim behind the perpetual tree line that surrounds you.
do we feel like we're getting close to our destination or not really?
You can make a nature check or a survival check to that effect.
Okay.
Can I assist him since... Oh, no, wait. See, I was looking at the map. Never mind.
Did you, Justin, did you get the same message I did on that map?
No.
No.
The message that I gave to her was public. Yours was...
Yeah.
Holgrim, you, as the night kind of rolls in, it's still a little ways off. You probably have a couple hours of good light, but it is getting darker. And you can hear, as this is a time when some creatures are very active during the day. The heat is becoming less oppressive as you're not directly in the sunlight. There is the chorus of many frogs and toads and creatures speaking out, but the former are louder, specifically so. And it is almost a measure and cadence to them, like it's a song that's being performed. There is some disruptions that feel even closer to you, but these sounds appear to be quite far off, and you know that these creatures, these bullywogs, and just some of these frogs that are in the swamp in general, their voices carry pretty far even in the denseness of this swamp. So, while you may be close, it is not eminently upon you.
All right. Well, I think we better get some rest. We're gonna be there. I don't know, maybe half a day, something like that. Wouldn't want to come upon him in the night. At least I wouldn't.
Sounds reasonable. Let's make for the land. Make camp. Take a rest.
All
Sure.
right, I'm okay with this.
Are you looking for an agreeable spot, or are you just picking any such occasion to pull up onto land?
Probably an agreeable spot, I think.
You still have a couple hours of time.
I mean,
I would
say that we should continue to move forward until we find a spot that seems more hospitable. If we don't have to immediately stop.
Certainly. And Belinda and Theo, as you guys are kind of perusing this map, following your progress, you do see coming up ahead is a knot. And what appears to be a larger open portion of this this river, this waterway. And as you see it come to fruition, you do see that the waterway opens up wider and wider to the point where you, while still being able to see the opposite shore, are definitely in what you would consider to be a small lake or larger pond in this riverside. Do you guys power through the center of it? Take up a side? What would you like to do here?
We shouldn't make the
Let's
choice
take to
which way to go until tomorrow.
You want to stop here before the lake?
I think that would probably be wise, yeah.
There's nothing particularly outstanding about encampment here. But as you guys are taking a moment to survey the landscape, although it is getting closer to dusk, if you guys are trying to find some place that would be restful, why don't you make some perception checks? Anybody who's on the lookout for such. And if you do not have dark vision, go ahead and make these perception checks at disadvantage.
16.
16, 13, 17, or it was 13, so a 20 and a 19 from
Belinda
and a
second
1 and a
night.
13.
I have an eye.
You have an eye. And your eye
Oh,
sees
actually.
I
very
have a jar of
plainly,
eyes.
as well as stories, that on the what would be northeast side of this pond, there is quite plainly a small, you wouldn't call it a dock, but maybe like a half pier. You know, there's a man-made structure there in a crop of trees, nestled in a crop of trees, and you can even see a bit of unnatural light coming from that area as well.
I say, there are people living out in this place. I mean, who would ever... Oh. Holgrim.
Oi!
Do you reminisce about your hut?
Lady, you just come down here with all your preconceived notions of how the world should work. Why the hell are you even here? You still haven't answered our question. We asked you where to go.
Why, I'm sorry, are you a swamp dwarf?
Oi!
What? I mean, that's
Still
all
trying
right,
to figure it out
suppose.
myself, but he seems alright, Story. I think he's fine.
Okay,
I'll tell you-
alright.
I
No reason to be
am wondering
concerned
why
at
I
all.
am here, Holgrim.
I'll tell you what story. Maybe you're not aware of this, but in this area, it's a lot weirder to be from the mountain as a dwarf. The rest of them all got kicked out.
Right, that doesn't check out, but that's alright. I won't hold it against you too much.
Okay.
All right.
And I'll kind of look away from him and do the, little, my finger swirling around my head like he's
Yeah, he's a crazy guy.
I do the same thing.
Do we,
Belinda, you
do we
knew that there
dare
were going to be
intrude?
others living out here when we left out from the town of whatever the name it's called. I can't remember. I mean, there are creatures here. Bollywogs is the thing said.
Mire is
We
the name
already
of the town.
knew that Holgrim was living out here, so it's not unreasonable to expect that there might be others. But she
Lots of
seems
people live in the
surprised.
swamp.
This is kind of far. Even by the measures of Holgrim or
There's
the
nothing
people of the
wrong
town.
with a little
It's-
seclusion out of society. Can be good
You
for
know,
the
I mean,
soul, even.
it's my
I
understanding,
don't-
correct, that the Bullywog, they are like sentient beings, correct? I mean,
They are.
That's
Yeah,
my
fire.
understanding as well.
so I would relay as much.
Yeah, well, a lot of people live in the
Oh, the
swamp.
book
but
literally told us.
But I don't know.
There's also a lot of orcs.
The Bullywogs do not. They usually don't make camp with fire, but they are around.
There's also shitloads of orcs roaming around the swamp.
That
They're
is
pretty
very
good
true.
folks.
Well, if we dare intrude on another's camp, I say we do it with the utmost discretion. Who among us is the most discreet in traveling in this particular type of landscape?
I think that'd have to be me.
The mountain dwarf.
He says, rattling with 2 huge flails and a bunch of pots and pans tied to his back.
I can check it out if you want.
Best not you go too far on your own. Maybe you check
On my
ahead and
own?
we come behind you. I just don't want to leave you in case there is a bunch of orcs. What if that is an orc camp?
Well, I'd say hello.
Does that work out very well?
Oh, they get a bad rap, those folks. I've talked to them many a time.
Really?
As long as you're not the current leader of the orc tribe, they're probably not going to hit you.
Haven't spoken to too many orcs in my lifetime, and I've lived
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
mean-
life.
I'm more than open. I'm more than open to go talk to them. But you're gonna be in the front by about 100 feet.
I'll scout it out. Sure.
Sure. If you would like to.
How are we all going then? Best not to split up.
Just holler if you need us.
We'll come behind
The lasses are staying behind then, is that right?
with a safe
Mm.
distance, but yes.
Aye. Well,
Unless Theo suggests we stay even
perhaps
farther
you can
behind.
make yourselves useful and try to find the optimal path out to the river here at this little knot then.
Can do that.
I'll ready my shield and mace and prepare to walk off to whatever we're doing with Holgrim.
So Holgrim, are you? How much of an advance are you taking, or / how much is the party giving him a room to breathe in his scouting?
I'm giving him approximately 30, 50 feet.
My dark vision is like, it's nighttime, right?
I would expect that if I'm going off to scout, I'm going to have a pretty significant advantage.
I was gonna say, like, you would have, like, at least I would assume, like, 120.
I don't want to
to
lose sight of him is the thing. If we're following him, that wouldn't make any sense.
Oh, you're gonna lose sight of me.
You will
can't-
probably
Then
Probably
what's
lose
the
lose
sight
point of us
him,
coming with you if we
but
can't
you
see
may
ya?
not lose sight of the camp. And while it is loud on the swamp, you can assume that he can shout over the menagerie of noises fairly easily.
Okay.
I do not mind one way or the other. I'm just asking how much leeway are you giving him? Because if you're following him only 30, 40, 60 feet behind, you will definitely be needing to make some significant stealth checks.
Okay.
I would definitely be like 120.
Oh, so
at
they are
least.
following us then.
Well, yeah, we just weren't going to take the lead. We said we were going to take the front. Like, we're not going to be the first.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give him
We're not
120 feet. I
I'm giving him
guess.
30.
30, you're following him. You might as well be with him then.
I am.
I'm giving him 120. I'm not. I don't think that's.
He's the expert here. I'm gonna hide in his shadow.
Right, whatever.
Okay, well, and if anybody is moving in that direction, go ahead and make some stealth checks. Bailiwick with a solid 17. Holgrim
Well,
15.
I think we're going to be pretty far. Me and Ballywick are going to be pretty far ahead.
That's
I'll
what
be
I'm
pretty
saying.
far
I don't
behind.
think I'm making stealth checks.
If anybody else, okay, so if it's just Bailiwick and Holgrim, that's perfectly acceptable. And so as you approach this this unnatural light, that is along the shore side, what pathway do you approach it? Are you trying to loop around it in any way? Are you approaching it directly along the shore side? What's your plan of approach?
I mean,
Uh,
Are you taking one of the boats and
I think I would go
slowly
whichever
moving
way.
that way?
I mean, it's hard. I can't really picture it. So I would go whatever way seems the least likely to, have us be detected, which I think I would have a pretty good idea of given who I am.
Certainly. That's certainly fine. Go ahead and make just a. Go ahead and make just a survival check.
Okay. Where am I blind? Oh, there it is.
Okay. So you choose a very obvious path, so that you're keeping your location in mind and in sight, while being very silent in your approach. Sticking onto the solid ground, you are quiet along with Bailiwick. And as you do so, and as you near the camp proper, you start to see through the branches of trees and leaves a camp, like I said previously stated. You can see a couple of tents, some clothes hung out, a larger fire at the center of it, and a man starting to, at this point, looks like at the briefest glance he's fiddling with some stick, and perhaps a line. Maybe he's working on fishing. And as you approach just a little bit closer to get a better picture of what he's exactly doing, it sounds almost as if a bell is triggered, and there's this echoing ringing. The party can hear this as well, although it seems a bit distant.
As soon as I heard that, I would like to call something out if possible.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the man kind of start up with alarm in your direction, but you can make
I
a
would
call
say,
out.
"Oi, friend! Not just a friend here. We're just traveling on the river and saw the fire. Thought we should make sure there wasn't any threats or anything out here. Didn't mean to alarm you."
Okay. You see a lithe, fair-skinned man with dark hair kind of fumble at his belt for a dagger for a brief moment at the sound of the alarm, and you call that out. And as you do so, and he kind of brandishes the knife in your direction, and he kind of absorbs what you're saying, he says to you, "Come on. Step into the light then. Let's see if you are truly a friend. There are things out here that speak like a man."
Oh, believe me, man, I know. Fucking spooky out here in the swamp. And I'll walk forward. The name's Holgrim. I live down Well, quite a ways, I suppose, south of Fairmire. But up here doing a little gathering and such. I got some friends with me. They're a little ways behind. Just so you know, not trying to spook you or nothing. And
He kinda
I'll
gestures to you. Behind? Where?
well,
How many
behind
of them are you?
behind me. Oh, shoot! Let me count. Hold on.
Can we can hear him, Helgrim
I
yelling
got
at this guy?
well,
Yeah,
there's
you
me.
can hear a conversation taking
I'll
place.
come
Maybe not
up
making
if
out
he's-
maybe not making out the words exactly, but a conversation.
And there's
Well,
2
I'll
other
rush up to
dwarves.
see if he's okay.
And there's 2 ladies from the north. And we got what's that? We got this fellow here, Ballywick. Yeah, I think 7. No, yeah, 7.
All right. Fine. Come, step into the light, all of you. Let's see. I've plenty to share, I suppose. 7 is a large number.
Well, I don't know that we even need any food or anything like that. We've got plenty. We just figured we'd see, what's going on over here. But I'll walk towards him.
Sure. You can see him kind of eyeing you and taking stock of you as you approach. For even the briefest of moments, you can sense that his eyes even glow. And he appraises you quite clearly. Ballywick, are you approaching?
Of course I am.
He does the
Does
same
this guy
to
have
you.
any signage on him or something like that?
Go ahead.
Or can I not make that out yet?
You can as you kind of enter into the camp proper, and there is a good bit of light coming off of his campfire. The rest of the party, you guys are making your way forward as you hear this conversation kind of unfolding across the water.
Yeah, I'm assuming Holgrim's voice carries.
He purposely made it so, I believe. Yeah. So as you make a check of him, it's looking for insignia or signage. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
13. You gaze around the camp and his personage as well, and there's nothing that you can tell that aligns him with any particular faction. He has no bearings in that regard. You can see that he has probably been here a while, as he has adapted this campground a bit. And it would have taken him quite some time to set it up personally if he hadn't already been here. As the rest of you approach by water, I assume, bringing your boats?
I think we were on land, but we can tow them over, I suppose.
I assume that he kind of disembarked for the stealth expedition, as it were. But if you guys were on land, if you want to bring the boats along at a later point, that's perfectly reasonable as well.
I think we probably would have left the boats, because otherwise that would have meant that we...
Sure. So you guys kind of traipse through the forest, swampy area, as you arrive into this campground. And he says, "My word, there is a lot of you. Please make yourselves at home. This area is usually quite quiet.
Aye.
The name's Brent.
Nice to meet you,
Kingspur,
Brent.
if you go by last names. Welcome to my camp, I suppose. You seem like a friendly enough folk, and I guess I'm surprised. I don't see many travelers out this way.
Well,
You represent a group.
oh, I mean, you could say that, I guess. We recently, a lot of us, were hired by the town of Fairmire to, well, basically protect him, be their little problem solvers. That's what we're doing. We're out here. We're solving problems.
Well, I can't imagine what problems you seek to solve out here. Are you
Well,
saying that you are employed by the nation of Greencoin? You're with Regents?
Well, we're temporarily employed. I would like to not be there for too long, you see, but my hut, it's a long story. But, yeah, just need to make some coin. There's a job offering. So, here we are.
Sure. And this is kind of as you guys are, the rest of your party are fumbling their way to their destination and appearing before him. And in the
What
light
about
of the
you,
camp,
though?
he says, kind of gestures. Please make yourselves at home. I can't say I was expecting this much company, but there's plenty of room and plenty of dry ground, which is a hot commodity out here. And he kind of gestures, and you can see that he was indeed working a line onto a pole and seemed close to stepping out on the pier when you approached him and set off an alarm. The rest of the party is now in the vicinity of this encampment.
I'll walk
Welcome,
up.
welcome.
Who's your friend, Peter Holgren?
Got a
He
guard
does
dog.
not have a dog. He does not have a dog.
Who's your friend here?
Oh, this is Brent. I don't rightly know what he's doing in the swamp yet, but he seems like a nice guy.
Brent, pleasure to meet you. Have to admit I was a little worried when I heard Holgrim yelling out, but seems like he just met a fellow lad of the swamp.
As was I. It's not
Name's
often that
Dawgs,
I
and
receive travelers' ochre. That's good. We perhaps don't need to share each of our names. I don't suspect we'll be fast friends. But if you want to share my
Suit
camp for the
yourself.
night, that's okay.
I appreciate your hospitality.
Kind of gestures to his campfire. Warm yourselves, please. Dry yourselves off. It's not pleasant to
readily
be
do
traveling
so.
out here.
Boy,
You can say that again. Can't say I like the swamp. Truth be told, I'm out here
Oh.
only for a little bit of coin.
you'll get used to it.
As Theo and Belinda kind of make their appearance on the campsite, he kind of gives them a little bit more gracious of a greeting and nod, as opposed to what he's given Ballywick and Oakring. And Story maybe popping up in the rear, he kind of gives just a brisk nod. I can honestly say I don't have the most food available. I assume that you travelers have your own provisions. I won't need to be providing for you, will I?
Oh. Got food. Wouldn't just come traipsing in the swamp without it.
Certainly so. I find it even a bit difficult to collect something worth eating out here. And you can kind of see that he looks a bit ragged and perhaps a bit slender for his form and for his clothes. It doesn't appear that he is living lavishly out here, as you can tell by his encampment. He's kind of working on his fishing pole, rather, as he sees the rest of you join the encampment and make yourselves at home. And as he's kind of finishing up, he pontificates towards you. What are you all doing out here? There's not a lot of problems that I could imagine for Fairmire this deep in the swamp.
Well, we're gathering some alchemical supplies.
You ever heard
see
the
a-
witch willow?
You see a flash of recognition cross his face. And he thinks for a moment, as if trying to recall a name, and appears to successfully do so. What's her name? Sasha? Are you working for her?
No, we're working for Fairmire, and they believe it is in the town's best interest to help her get these supplies so that she can make something for somebody I don't know.
I think Sasha might have convinced the mayor that it is in our best interest. So in a way, we are working for Sasha.
She's more of a client than a boss.
Right,
Is
we
she?
are employed under Mr. Nettles, if you've heard of him.
I've heard of him.
But we are supposed to be the replacements for Galen of the town.
You see his face kind of go a little bit slack at that name, and as he tries to process who that is or what you mentioning that name really means to him, he kind of brings back the topic of Sasha, stating, I've seen her cross this way, not too long ago.
Was this
Uh,
before
once-
or after she lost the arm? Or not lost it, but you know.
Broke it. I saw her in both states. She came through this way very confident about her capabilities. Some mage of her own right, probably. Shared some food with her. Told her about the Bullywugs. To the north, not but a day. A little less. If you find the right waterways. And she came back looking a little worse for wear. I told her to respect them. She did not seem to do so.
It doesn't seem very respectful. I still think she's the one who fucked up my swamp.
What? Fucked up your swamp? What do you mean when you say that, son?
I had a hut down south of Fairmire. Came back, it was destroyed. That's why I'm trying to make some money. It's the only thing that makes sense. I'm an alchemist. She's an alchemist. She didn't like me in her new territory.
You left
That's
out the
what-
part about the boulder.
Well, we don't need to tell the whole story to every single person we meet, okay?
Well, it's just the most interesting part. To be
Kinda laugh.
fair.
Well, if you've come out this way to make a living, I can honestly say, well, perhaps the lot of you together can scrap something together. But it's hard, and what you're trying to do, she did. I would be leery of such a thing. Those bullywugs probably won't take kindly to her intrusion, and less so to the people she sends after her.
Have you met one before?
I trade with them, not infrequently.
So they can speak.
I wouldn't
Com-
call it that. I know a couple of their words, and that's enough to trade. They, for the most part, keep to themselves, but they're not the finest craftsmen. I can honestly say I'm not either. But and he kind of stomps over to his tent, disappears inside for a moment, and then pulls out some carved wooden images of what looks to be like frog-ish humanoids, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of holds up a couple. I'm not particularly savvy with this place, but I'm good with my hands, and they seem to appreciate it well enough to help me stay fed when they come around.
Well, I've got to ask, Brent. You think it's odd that we're out here? I find it just as weird that you're just sitting here at a camp. What are you doing here? I mean, if you don't have to say, I suppose. But
If I don't have to say, I won't. Simple as that. I'm out here living my life, just like you're out here living yours.
Well,
Uh,
fair enough. It's an odd place to pick, but if it's yours, it's yours.
as the swamp is, sometimes you need to be away from the world, gain a new perspective.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'll look deeply into the fire as he says that.
How long are you planning on gaining this perspective? Have you not caught it yet?
Well, kind of seems taken aback at your question, and at you in general, Belinda. I'm just looking for a new lease on life, new way to go about things, and I am taking some time to myself in that regard, albeit at a very strange place. It's been a difficult few months, and I've lost some things, some people who are quite close to me. And so, no, I haven't found exactly what I'm looking for, and I don't think that I will out here. Not at least as he gestures around in the swamp itself. Please make yourselves at home. I am going to attempt to do some fishing, and that was my plan for the day. I haven't quite found myself dinner. Please make yourselves at home. Like I said before, set
Do I
up
have extra
anywhere.
rations?
What does he have
not really.
on offer here for food?
He has nothing,
Okay.
as far as you can tell.
He's in the process of catching it.
Yeah, it
Supposedly.
seems that way. Okay.
Do we have
Uh,
extra
That's-
rations or not really?
Yeah. I mean, you have supplies enough to share for a few days worth of a few extra days worth of travel.
Okay.
What kind of stew was it that Story had?
I believe he said it had some onions.
Yeah,
Onions.
onions. I think there was some carrots and potatoes, and I think maybe a fish from the swamp.
Oh, fish. All right. Yes. You'd mentioned it before. I'll take you up on that stew.
Oh, yes, it's quite good when it's 2 days old.
She paused 2 days.
Oh.
Does stew keep for 2 days? I'll look at Theo.
Sounds delicious, laddie. More time for the flavors to get to know each other.
Exactly right.
I just shrug at her. Like, probably fine.
What, you don't believe us? Try it for yourself.
Didn't you eat the river pie earlier?
No,
Yeah.
assuredly not. I promise. I didn't. It looked wonderful to everybody else. It was
You know,
fine.
you were missing out. I have to say, you were really missing out. It was delicious.
Stu
Thank
Prim had
you.
one.
After eating that point,
Cheese
I could bench press
proper.
Holger.
Little too prim and proper, if I had any say about it.
Perfect amount.
You guys are kind of
Well, thank
making
you.
good conversation around
Milk
the
drinkers.
campfire, dropping your supplies and making yourselves at home.
Let's go get the boats, no? Probably shouldn't just leave them out.
Aye, that seems a good idea. I'll help you get them. Or somebody.
I'll get one.
Probably
We'll
at least 3 of us
We'll
should
head
go.
back and go get them.
Okay. You guys do so. And you can see in the low light by this pier This gentleman, Brent, as he called himself, is about his business, fishing. And over the course of maybe 20, 30 minutes, as you guys are kind of making camp, setting up your own tents and bedrolls, you see him catch a couple fish. Not nothing
I'm going to
special.
work my way over to Brent while he's catching a couple fish.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check as you do this.
What did Mr. Brent look like?
He was a lithe man with fair skin and shorter, dark hair. It's probably about around his ears. Not particularly handsome or particularly ugly. You wouldn't probably pick him out of a crowd very easily. Belinda, you catch him as you are stepping along the way closer towards him. You catch him humming a tune.
Is it the same one the little halfling child was humming? Oh, I'm not there. Never mind.
Is this gonna be? Is this like a? Am I close enough? Like I've moved towards him. Does he know I'm here?
He is in the process of recognizing you're there as you're kind of like stepping forward. You're like stepping forward nonchalantly and with no particular desire to maintain stealth. And so as you step forward, you catch this sound as he's sitting on the pier here. You just catch him. And it just kind of catches that as you kind of step and make a noise of approach. He kind of stops, notices you, and he says, "So, my lady, what seems to be the problem?"
Well, now you are a gentleman who seems to be skilled at fishing, and to be honest, the rations my party has is 2-day old stew and dried bits of meat. I won't mention the swamp pie.
Don't
But it is
dare not mention it. No. I'm no skilled fisherman. I can assure you that. But if I have enough to share, of course we'll bring some to you as well.
I would appreciate it. Is there anything I could do for you in exchange? That is a lovely tune. One of our party is, I believe, in the bardic arts.
It's nothing really. There's nothing you can do for me in exchange. I simply wish to make my home yours, and you keep your problems to yourselves, and I'll keep mine to mine.
That's very fair and very generous. Well, if you do have anything to spare, I would much appreciate it. I'll leave you to your work.
Kind of nods for a moment, looks at you for a couple paces longer, and then goes back to his business.
I'm gonna just relax, relax as Belinda relaxes, keep the even step, good posture as I head back to the camp and take my seat and wait for Theo to come back.
Yeah, I don't know how long it would take us.
Another sparing 5 minutes or so that you guys come back with these boats. Not far off from this encampment, which seems to be very well chosen on this pond. There's easy enough places to wash them ashore and disembark. He kind of notices you landing.
Well, good thing I made it back. Not the
Indeed.
greatest navigator out here in the swamps.
Certainly not so in the dark. Find it to be a labyrinth at times. Not worth traipsing about in, especially not at night.
Certainly not. You encountered a small child along the way here. Halfling child.
Probably one of Yam's ilk. That family is very abundant.
They were out here on their own, though. Seem to
They don't
prefer it.
seem to be strangers. I run into them not maybe as often as I run into the bullywogs, but I do see them. And oftentimes they're children. It's a bit strange to me, but perhaps they don't value their own lives very much. I would be concerned letting my children traipse around a place like this.
I would too. Doesn't seem like the safest place.
I suppose if you know it well enough.
Can't say that I do. But that's why I got
Why?
friends like Holgrim out here. He knows it quite well.
Yeah, you would have snuck up on me very easily. You just
I mean, I'm
kind of
there, aren't I?
yeah.
Yeah,
You could probably hear the conversation kind of coming up as you see the rest of your party. Maybe you're
Well, I
helping
went-
them unload
yeah,
some
I
of the
went-
goods from the boats.
Well, I've lived in the swamp, well, my whole life. I've had to sneak around a few times. A lot of nasty things out here. Sure you understand.
I won't say I pity you for fear of disparaging your home. But
You wouldn't be the
I
first.
would dare to venture there are nicer places to live.
Well, that may be. It's really all I've known, so can't say it bothers me too much.
I do find that perception is much changed by seeing greater portions of the world. That's true. Please, I don't mean to.
Where are you
I don't
from,
mean
if you
to
don't mind me
sound
asking?
standoffish, but if you could turn to your
Oh,
party members
sure.
trying to fish,
Oh, I don't mind.
kind of shrugs you off.
I'm going to hook Theo's arm when she gets close enough and say, just loud enough, Theo, please escort me. I need to use the very public facilities.
Yeah, there's a good tree over there. And I'll take her over to the tree.
Sure.
As we hook and walk further away from the
I
camp,
see them
we're
walking
like,
away. You do everything together.
Gotta watch each other's backs.
Watching a bit more than that.
Besides,
is there an implication in Okri's voice?
Yes.
Oh. Hold it up.
Of course there is.
I mean, at my height, I'm staring a little lower than that.
I'll look over my shoulder, give a simple smile, just a simple polite one that's gonna slowly grow and grow and grow
I'm probably not paying attention.
till I got my fang showing.
Fangs, you say?
Well,
I'm
canine, my
kidding.
canine. And as we're hooked and we're heading to the tree, and I'm no, actually, you know what? No, I'll do whatever I gotta do. Because when else am I gonna do it? Theo, darling, the gentleman here fishes and sings, and I guarantee you he is the name we will never remember.
And
And he seemed to be very dangerous. based upon what the hag had said. He's also the one who possibly controlled the rats that were attacking the town.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit, yes, all of that. This might be a great chance for you also to relieve yourself. I'll say as I pull up my britches. Because the shit might literally go flying after this. Best be
Well,
comfortable.
yeah. Also, that map, obviously made out of skin, but it's very, very specific to the Draconis family.
I of my kin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my. Well, that is something now, isn't it? I predicted us returning to the hag would be deadly for the entire party. I could have been mistaken.
Do you think we should tell them? We should definitely tell them about that singing guy.
I'm back.
We have a slightly bigger problem than that, Theo. How do we tell those knuckleheads anything? And have them keep it under wraps? We have to survive the night. And that is assuming we remember anything of this in the morning.
Maybe we can write ourselves a note or something before we go to bed. Tell them in the morning.
That is a good plan. Do you think any of them you would trust with that kind of information?
I don't know yet, honestly. We've only known them a couple days.
Well, let's keep the map thing to ourselves for now, then. Especially now.
Agreed. But we do need the rest of them to survive the night, too.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out how to achieve that.
Got any fancy tricks up your sleeve?
Oh my, this is not the kind of... The best I could do is pretend like everything is alright, and then we hope it is.
I'm on board for that.
What's the rest of the party doing as they have this conversation?
Really long crap in the woods.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'd just be preparing my bedroll, getting ready to,
Yeah.
I mean, hit the
yeah, I
hay.
don't really think I'm. This guy seems like he's pretty distant. Not gonna.
Ballywick's
push
just
it.
sitting around plucking at his lyre.
Sure.
Yeah, Story's definitely setting up his tent and his cook stove and his everything.
No, it's cook stove. He's getting ready to cook a meal.
He's, yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say he's living in luxury out here in the swamp.
Of course.
By Serena. I'm amazed the weapon rack can actually speak, let alone walk.
Why do you carry all that stuff on your back, Mr.
Well-
Story?
Oh, well, it's nice to have a nice stew, and everyone wants to sleep indoors. It reminds me of being under the
Isn't
mountain.
it a bit cumbersome? That's quite a bit of stuff.
No, I'm quite strong.
Aye, you must be. Impressive, really.
Oh, it's from all the days in the mine when my wife put me to
Aye.
work.
I remember the days of the mine. I was a youngin' then. A long time ago.
Oh, aye, yes. So I thought it reminds me of home. It reminds me of home.
He kind of the gentleman down by the lakeside comes back with just a few fishies and kind of sets them before you, Story, as you're working on this, putting together all this. Here, the woman, the colored hair, she asked that I share some, and I'm willing to do so for all of you. So, here.
I appreciate your generosity.
Sure, what now?
I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
And
What?
He's just giving you a couple fishies, Ballywick.
He's giving us food.
Oh, never mind then.
And I do have something else. It's not too terribly much, but some tobacco, if you're willing to partake. Some good stuff out here. Kind of goes underneath his tent once more.
I have been known to dabble. I'll take out a small pipe.
None for the kid.
Oh, double I do.
He's passed out, dude. He's dead.
He couldn't handle it even if he tried.
Not
And,
shame.
That
so
one's a
he
little bit
bring-
green, drinking a
brings
bunch of
out
milk
a-
and rarely has any hairs on his chest just yet.
Brings out a couple patches of leather, or pouches rather, of leather. Kind of hands them over to you, Okri, and kind of gestures to the rest of the group if anybody is like reaching out a hand.
I'll pack a little bit of my pipe.
I'll take some.
Seems so he tosses it to you, Theo. Seems to be pretty good stuff out here, like I said. But feel free. It's plenty to go around. I'm gonna work on my supper. And he kind of goes back to the dock. After a couple of moments, he actually, before he even gets to the dock, he kind of turns around, kind of hands his hand out to you, Okri, as you finish packing your pipe, and he takes out his own, packs his real quick.
I'll hand him his tobacco back if he hasn't already taken it.
No, he kind of pushes it back to you. No, take it. Go ahead. Share it with the rest of you. It's a good night for it, honestly. Kind of glances up at the stars.
Hey. You're an awfully generous fellow out here, Mr. Brent. Don't get a lot of visitors.
No, I don't.
Well, I'm glad we could keep each other company, if it's only for one night. It's good to make sure you keep with conversation. Take it from me,
Yeah.
if you're away from people for too long, it doesn't end up right.
He kind of appreciates your wisdom. He says, not to disparage the other dwarves here, but you look a bit grayer than most.
Aye.
It's a sign of wisdom and respect in your culture, if I'm not mistaken.
Or a bit of age, but I'll take the compliment, yes. I'd like to think that I'm wise, but I don't know. I don't think I know anything more than anyone else who may have lived as many years as I have.
It's good to be humble, I guess, but what I kind of meant was it seems you would be old enough to be someone from the old country, as they call it.
Right, the old world even. I am from there. Back when I was a wee lad. Feels like
I'm
a
sure.
lifetime ago, though.
I'm sure you have some stories to tell. Heard very
Aye.
differing accounts about what it was like back then. The
You've heard
is-
accounts then?
Yeah.
From who? If you don't mind me asking.
I had some privileges in my previous life, as it were, my previous job, and that accounted me able to read some books, I would say, and they had some descriptions of cities, places. Obviously, for the most part, these are not contemporary tellings of the place. They're, secondhand accounts, or at the very least, written by people who've come here to the New World. So, whether or not they're speaking truthfully is difficult to say. But if you've lived it, then I probably trust your word.
I've lived it. I was just a wee lad, but I was there for a time before the world went dark.
Yeah,
What do you want to know?
I guess well, some of the stories say that it was a sprawling city as far as the eye could see. Towers that would pierce the sky. Seems wild to me to think, kind of here, as he gestures to his encampment. Seems we've fallen quite a ways from where we were.
Aye, things were a bit different back then. Certainly nothing dwarven would be touching the sky, but there were sprawling cities, such as you've described. Think of more a bit of elven culture, but the halls of the dwarves were just as grand under the mountains, I can assure you.
I would imagine so. I even have in my possession what I believe to be an artifact from that world.
I'll sit up.
No, I can't say for certain.
What is it exactly?
He draws his dagger. Looks to be very plainly made and very unassuming. Even maybe sporting a bit of rust spot here and there. As he kind of pulls it out. And he says, would you like to play a game?
Sure thing. Bit of fun before bed.
He draws out a kind of a stump, sets it on his lap, and just this round piece of wood. And he sets his hand down on it, starts plucking the dagger, tapping it quickly between his fingers, and he hands the dagger over to you.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. Is that the wisest thing to do?
Certainly not, but
I assure you no harm will come him.
I
Oh no, dare
don't
say
think
not.
there will be any
Whoever got
permanent
hurt
harm
playing with a
anyway.
dagger.
Besides, I'm proficient in a bit of healing magic should anything go wrong. I'll take the dagger, and can I inspect it more closely? You mentioned something about like an artifact from that time. I just want to see if this looks like something old enough to be from that era.
Sure, go ahead and make a investigation check.
15.
15. Yeah, in your distant memory, it's of the same kind of make. This is a single-edged blade. The way that the guard on where you would hold your thumb and the grip, it's very similar to what you remember from when you were a child. This was like standard make and quality that people would have. It's just a very utility knife dagger sort of thing. It's
Simple but
nothing
effective.
special. Simple, yeah.
Sure.
It seems fairly well kept if it is just of a very simple quality because it only sports some showing of age. But it seems that it's very possible that it was either made in the old world or is a replica of what was made back then, which wouldn't be
Sure.
uncommon.
I'll play his game, but I'll say to him as I start, "You've kept this in good condition. It looks like it could even be from that time."
And he gives you a smile. Go ahead and make a dexterity check as you try and match what he did.
Boy. 12.
Yeah, you're not bad, not quick, not super fast. And he, he kind of gives you a nod of respect and says, "Yeah, you've done this before."
When I was much younger and a little bit more spry, the bones weren't as old by then, of course.
He takes it from you, and performs it again a bit quicker, and then hands it back to you.
One sec. Sorry, someone was talking to me.
You're good.
Well, what's your point of this game? I'll play, but I think you're gonna get me beat eventually, if I'm being honest.
You'll see. Please play along.
12 again.
He kind of nods at your speed, and it's like, oh, okay, it's as fast as the old man can go.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he does it even just a bit quicker than he did at the time before. But this time, before he finishes, it appears he terribly, terribly scuffs it. And he stabs his hand, his palm even, straight to the bone. And you can hear the sound, see the blood splatter, and you hear him even yelp.
Okay.
Oh, are you alright?
Looks pretty bad. Luckily for you, I'm here.
No.
Need a bit of healing on that.
Not a worry. And he kind of grabs the knife by the hilt, pulls it from his flesh. You can hear it kind of gripping out of the wood itself, and his skin as you see it kind of splurt blood a little bit. And then he flips the dagger over in his hand. And you look down at his hand again. His other hand, the hand that was on the table. And there is no mark.
Hmm.
A simple trick, but interesting, nonetheless.
A simple trick.
The dagger produces wounds that, while they may seem real for a moment,
They are illusions then.
they are illusions.
Or did you come across an artifact like this? It's not a common piece of magic. Not a lot of
Yeah.
uses for such things.
Flips it in his hand again, and you can tell that he's pretty familiar with this item, and pretty dexterous in general. And he says, one of the things you come across in my trade, and I imagine at some point, if you continue along the path that you're on, you'll find similar works of art.
I hope so. Truth be told, I'm looking for information about my old peoples. Bit history, see where they may have fallen. Where they may be resting. Their final resting places, that is.
Well, I couldn't tell you in the slightest in that regard, but
That's
No,
quite
I-
alright, no one can.
Yeah.
Gonna have to do a lot of reading.
sure. And I've already spent just a bit too much time. I don't even have a dinner for myself here. But hopefully that gave you a little bit of hope. There's still some of those relics floating around, if indeed this does come from the old world.
Well, I'm glad to hear that they're out there.
Kind of nods, gets up from his seat, sets aside the little stump table that he had, and heads back to his fishing.
I'll dig into the food that he gave me. Keep smoking my pipe.
Well, Story's preparing it, but
Oh, I'm sorry. He gave him the fish. I thought he
Yes,
gave
It's
each one
almost
of us a
ready.
little fish. Okay.
it's almost ready.
I'll keep smoking my pipe.
And he's not in direct earshot. You kind of have to raise your voice to contact him. So you guys feel fairly comfortable in this camp to speak freely. As you guys are sitting around this campfire enjoying what seems to be a very nice night.
The ladies come back from their business yet.
They do, as you're they see the final act of this little play that you guys had.
He yelped when the knife hit him in the
Yeah.
hand.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretending like it's like, no, that didn't really hurt. That didn't really happen. Can I insight check his reaction, like his physical reaction to that, or like perception check it or something? Like, I wonder if he wasn't really stabbed.
Go ahead and make an insight check. You saw the tail end of it.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw nothing.
I mean,
It was
Thea
very
was
weird.
there with you. Was she helping you?
Theo, well, I did warn her about him
Insight.
Yeah,
to keep an eye on him.
I'm quite a bit taller than you. I can see him better.
I'm kind of
How
I will
do you
say
see
that
through her eyes?
there's no way that you could help her, but you could make your own insight check as to this. If you're leery of him as well. No, I mean his reaction and his eventual change of face seemed to be very genuine and in line with the story that he told. So do with that what you will.
Well, seems that illusions run rampant in this swamp, I suppose.
Looks like it.
Fair enough. Story, you finish up your stew. What else are you adding besides these fishies?
Oh, I thought I'd mix it up and put a little bit of onion and some potato, maybe a few carrots,
Story, what you're cooking up there smells delicious.
and some salt.
Yeah,
Yeah, salt. That's a good one.
of course.
Oh, I got the whole kitchen with me.
Cracked.
I'm just looking at Story as he's constantly producing all this shit from seemingly nowhere that he's carrying on his person.
So many bags.
It's important. Those
Oh,
are good tools.
My wife, Irsa, she said, don't leave without everything you might need.
This wife you keep talking about, she sounds like quite the incredible lass.
Oh, yes. Back in the mines.
Right, the mine.
Stew, anyone?
Do everything you can to keep that one.
Yes, please.
She's a good one.
Right.
And I'll try to collect some stew.
Oh, there's plenty for everyone.
You see, as the night kind of progresses, you guys digging into your meals, processing the day's events, which was a rather long day for all of you. Story, you almost died, and for the rest of you,
Oh my.
yeah, the rest of you, it was not a fun experience out on the river. It's maybe 20, 30 minutes as you kind of occasionally glance over to the low lantern light of the pier where Brent is fishing. You see him catch a few more fish, and then he just kind of lingers out there a little bit longer, where maybe 5-10 minutes pass, where you don't really see him doing a whole lot. And Yeah, I mean, and the night progresses to the point where it is completely pitched dark out there, besides the bit of light that you get from the stars and now what's a pretty new moon
Is,
or at this point.
is it possible for us to have two on watch for the night? Per shift.
I don't see why not.
I'll volunteer.
For safety reasons, that would seem best.
Right, fine. It doesn't seem unreasonable this far out in the swamp. Story, I'll take the watch with you.
Is he still
What?
pretty far away? The Brent.
He said she's, or sorry, he said he's just out of earshot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it's
he's
not
not-
like
he's
if
far
you
enough away.
raised your voice, you could very easily speak with him. But it's not as if it's like someone is in the other room, like around the corner or something. You can't quite make out what they're saying, but you know that they're talking.
I'd kind of like lean into the party who's gathered around the stew pot and mention, let us also just keep an eye on our new friend.
In case he gets into trouble.
Well,
Aye.
sure.
All right.
You don't trust
I'll,
him then, there, Belinda?
I'll take the last watch.
I'm gonna look at you and I'm going to. Is there like an ashen stick, like from the fire? You know, one that's like cooled, so it's like charcoal like.
Sure. Yeah.
As I'm looking at you, I'm going to very carefully like pull my glove down since I did get gloves. Expose my arm and write Brent on my wrist, and then pull my glove back up.
You write rent?
Brent, that was his name. He gave us
Yeah.
anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing it on my wrist while I'm looking at you, and then I pull my glove
Okay.
back up.
I'm me as a person is trying to figure out what
I
the
am
fuck that means.
highly confused looking at this.
Yep, I know. That's why I'm looking at you intently.
Is there something you want to talk about him? Tell me about him? I don't understand. You charcoal his name on your wrist. What does that mean?
Oh, that's what I do when I need to remember things.
That's true. You are quite the most ingenuitive member as of yet.
Well, when I
Right,
need to remember things, I just put it in my journal. Why you got to complicate the process? You take a bit
because
of
I don't
charcoal and put
know
it on
how
your
to
wrist.
read.
You don't know how to read, Sonny.
Right. Just draw pictures.
There's no way for a proper dwarf to conduct himself. We'll have to teach you.
Oh,
But no, we need some rest. The night has grown very late.
Modestly so.
Very
There's
well.
a bit of a buzz on for a couple of people who've been smoking, but it's all good. As it were, you guys lay down to rest. Those of you who are staying up for the first watch, which is who?
If Story's
Story's one of them.
cooking, then I guess I'll stay up with him.
He's got to clean out his pots and pans and whatnot, so he might as well stay up.
I'll stay up with him.
Sure. As you are about your business story, the gentleman, Mr. Brent, kind of walks back into the camp, notes Okri again and yourself story and says, "Hi, I appreciate you keeping the fire going for me. I guess, would it be too much to ask? What you've cooked up smells pretty good. Would you mind helping me?"
Oh, I saved you, Bull. Here it is.
That's very generous. Thank you. Appreciate it. And he kind of sets aside some of the fishies that he caught. digs into the bowl of stew. Say, wow, you're a pretty good cook. Where'd you come by that? Come by that ability?
By the stew.
Well, not everybody put together all the components that it takes to make a good dish. I've had poor ones. I've had good ones. Can't say I know the math of it, really.
I just mix together the things in the bag.
It's that simple for you.
Yep,
And I guess you're more of an artist.
indeed. That's what Issa says.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know, well, I tend to think of myself in a similar way. But as he kind of finishes up the bowl of stew that you saved for him, and he starts cooking the rest of his fish, and drying out some of the pieces, says to you specifically, Story, you seem a bit out of sorts from the rest of them. What are you doing out here?
Oh, well, Issa sent me to get some money. So I went to get some money, and here I came. And the man at the sign said, "Here's a job. Go here." So I went to the inn, and then now I'm here.
That's a simple simple explanation of events. I'm sure there's a little bit more to it, but can't say that my story is too much different than yours.
I can't remember much more.
You're an interesting individual. You guys all joined up with Regions. So you know much about them? What they do or who they are? Akari, you're right there with them. You can feel free to chime in.
Well, I don't know much about the Regent's company other than that they're paying me in these green marks. But whatever, I guess it's payment out here. They say it's good as coin. Can't say that I can agree with them being a dwarf and all, but it's pay.
Go ahead and make a insight check as you talk about this.
I'll ramble on a little bit more about how the Regent's company may know a little bit more about the information I'm looking for, and that might be my real reason for doing stuff, other than the coin.
Sure. He listens intently to you. Glean no further information than that, but he does assent to it, and he says, "Yeah. I mean, if you get in good with the Regions Company, you will have some doors open to you. That's for sure. I
That's what I'm
wouldn't
hoping for.
suspect it wouldn't be out of question that they would have some information about what you're talking about. But even beyond that, working for Skull, maybe the Knights of Karn might be a little bit more prudent for you."
Can't say I'm a big fan of the Knights of Karn. Don't have a great reputation around here.
No, they
At
don't
least
have a
not
great
among people who
reputation
know it
anywhere.
better.
I agree with that, but yeah, I would be leery of these green marks and their value. If you can, I'd say break ties as soon as you can. You don't want to be tied down to the company for too long.
Certainly not. Truth be told, I'm already planning to get out as soon as I get the better options, so to speak.
Yeah, well, they can sometimes pay well enough, but this new development is, I think, a bit concerning. I heard some rumors around it, but nothing.
What kind of rumors?
It's nothing big, but I heard, and this is from one ear to another, that there was a disappearance, a theft, perhaps, of a barge containing not an insubstantial amount of gold. Some people put in the measures. Well, 6 digits, 7 digits.
That's quite a pretty penny over there.
Yeah.
Pretty
And for
copper.
regions, to lose that is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It's not spoken of too often in their circles, as you can tell.
I imagine it'd be quite embarrassing if word got out more commonly that they lost a bunch of their coin. Yes, I can totally understand that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that might be, well, potentially something that driving force about what's going on with these marks. Kind of opens up one of his pouches and shows that he has some of them.
Yeah, it seems a little convenient after hearing that they want to pay in green marks. They probably can't even afford a run on their coffers, so to speak. They wouldn't even have the coin.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But, well, it's politics. I don't know. It's not too relevant. I wish the best for you guys. I really do. I hope you find what you're looking for out here. Be careful around those bullywugs, like I said before.
We
They
certainly
can,
will, Mr. Brent, and I appreciate your hospitality again. But if I could ask one more thing of you.
kind of pauses a moment. Says,
It's
all right.
potentially nothing really, but a bit of a smith myself, and I've told there's this material out here, bog iron. Perhaps you've heard of it. It's supposed to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
some resistant
course.
properties to the corrosion of the swamp. Do you happen to know where we could perhaps find some on our way through the swamp? Might be worth quite a bit to us.
I can't say I've been looking for a lot of it recently, but I do know that bullywugs, their fortress, I use that term very, very, very lightly. They
Chuckle a little bit.
they're on pretty substantial quantity of it near their spawning beds. It's to the west just a bit. And
Do they use it for anything?
well, that's where they make their royal decrees from. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but while I do know a couple of their words, there is actually one of their group that can speak common pretty well, actually. I don't know if I'd call him a bullywug exactly.
What do you call him then?
He just looks wrong. Like, the development of his features, his limbs are not quite right, and his head's too big. It looks more like a regular ass toad or frog, but just really big.
Well, does he have a name then? Something we could call him after we recognize him.
What
do you call him?
Not in a tongue that I could give to you. I can't even make the sounds they make. Croaking.
Sure.
But I
But
would
you
just
must
call
have
him
a name for him.
Great One or Big One.
Great One.
Just doesn't make too much of a difference. As long as you bow and you show respect to these guys, usually they treat you fairly well.
That is most helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you, Brent.
I think that the woman who sent you on this journey is kind of setting you up for failure. She
Well, she was not in a good way when she came back from her adventure, and I would suspect that while it's possible the Witchwood itself did it to her, they're not that dangerous. The tree itself, I should say. But the Bullywogs could definitely have harmed her, and if she attacked the Bullywogs herself, that might make him a little bit more antagonistic towards you. I'd be careful.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind.
He goes over to his tent one more time. And he grabs just one of these regular carved figures. But you can see wooden figures, rather. But you can see that this one is shaped in the likeness of what he had previously described. It's not quite like the other Bullywogs. Its limbs are a bit demure and muted, and its head is larger. And he kind of hands it to you and says, "You guys have been pleasant enough, and I don't want to see you fail. So, here, take this, and maybe it'll help."
Give him a thankful nod and take that from him.
And he kind of fishes, probably quite finished at this point. Takes the rest of his meal, and he actually does go back down to the pier as he takes his meal. Takes a step away from you two. For the rest of your night, barring any conversations that you two have, why don't you both make perception checks? Story. Very good. Very
I
good.
see y'all.
Impressive. Very nice.
Impressive. Yeah. No, there's nothing that jumps out at you. There's no crazy event that occurs in the night, and there's nothing that draws your attentions. Barring any conversation you wanted to have with each other, we move on to the next pair.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I'll go.
I'm just helping him clean up before we wake up the next crew.
Sure. You guys do so very simply. Theo and who else? Because I heard that you had been trying to do it so in pairs.
I said I would do the last one, so I don't think we actually have enough people, right?
It's sets of 3. I just do watches in 3s. Theo and who does Theo wake up otherwise? Or does she take
kind of
her?
want to be on separate watches if possible.
Yeah,
If you
I'll
would
get
be.
Bollywick up.
Ballywick, you are kicked in the side gently.
Gently by a giantess.
If he's there, sleepy.
He's sleeping.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
You literally
yeah.
just
Knocked
talked like
out.
30 seconds ago.
Where's Ballywick Farthing?
Ballywick.
No, it's here.
Tyrion's asleep.
He's keeping. He's waking you up. Theo's waking you up. To join her on watch.
I'm up.
Your
I'm
turn
up.
for
What
watch.
do you want?
You're taking watch with me, bud.
I guess. All right. I was having
I
the sweetest
guess.
dream.
What were you dreaming about?
It's not appropriate to say for the ladies.
Oh, okay, of course.
All right.
Simple enough. You guys can make a pair of perception checks if you would so desire.
Ooh.
Damn, dude.
Ballywick, you're nodding back into that dream and you are enjoying it. Theo, you're wondering what would he be so what could he be dreaming about that would be so inappropriate for you?
Just looking
And-
at him, trying to discern on his face.
and your thoughts linger as you do so, but the night progresses uneventfully.
No, you just sit on my face.
Jeez.
Theo and Ballywick barely making it through your watch. Wake up Belinda and Holgram.
Oi!
Fair enough.
I will look around.
Holgram gives it a check. Belinda? Sure.
So I suppose
Uh,
at some point it like becomes light during our watch, and
Yes.
unless you have something else you were gonna say,
No,
then
go ahead.
Is the guy still down by the water?
You
I mean, I didn't know
glance
that
over.
beforehand. I'm just saying,
Sure.
like, if I'm looking around and it becomes
Yeah.
light, I don't know how far the water is from us necessarily, but
You kind of glance over to that area, and this is fairly early on in your watch. So for the end of the second watch, start of the third, you do see even just a bit of a blaze from the dock, and it does appear that he is still down there.
interesting. Okay. I'll just make note of that. But I don't have any. I'm not gonna go talk to him or anything.
Sure. Belinda, that is also readily apparent to you.
Holcomb,
Is that
what do
pretty
you...
far away from us? Like,
60 feet.
oh, okay. So not. All right.
I'm gonna as we get close to waking everyone up, I'm going to kind of lean over to Hilgrim. I don't rightly trust the gentleman.
Why?
I prefer to say when we are safely out of his camp.
Oh, okay. If that's what you think's best.
And it's not maybe halfway through your guys' watch as your campfire has dwindled quite substantially, and the light of the dawn is starting to creep into the world. You see him stepping his way back to the camp, notices the pair of you and says, surprised you. Well, not too surprised, but a pair of you on watch. I'd have thought it was two ladies together.
Oh, they're a little cagey.
Got to keep
Yes,
an eye on them.
We need our men to wrangle us.
Nods at Holgrim.
Sure.
I'm headed to bed now.
You're a bit of a night owl, I see, huh?
Well, at times, pays to beat the heat of the day.
I suppose that's fair.
In any event, if I don't wake for goodbyes, don't be too offended. I'm sure I'll see you from your travels.
Oh, I imagine
Kind
we'll
of
be off
yawns and stretches.
quite quickly. No need to stick around for our sake. You've been quite a help. Appreciate it.
Certainly, yeah. Good to see some civilized folk every now and then. But
It's been a long time since someone called me that.
I was looking at Belinda as I said that.
Oh, I suppose you were.
Any event, best of luck to you guys, and yeah, just stay safe. Kind of
Same to you.
parts the flap of his tent, pops in, and not too long after, you can hear some soft but steady breathing from that direction.
But the morning arrives, as do the schedule that you guys have been maintaining thus far. And you start to break camp after gathering up a bit of food. Is there anything you guys would like to do special as you do so?
I just want to go find this Brent guy. And
If I
just-
noticed that, I would.
You kind of
point
look
out where
around,
he was
Okri.
sleeping.
Yeah. You look around and notice that he's not anywhere in particular.
Okay.
And you notice his tent. And as you start to head towards that direction, Holgrim stops you. Says,
Oi, the man's asleep. He asked we let him. We leave him that way. Unless you got
I
something
wasn't
really
gonna wake him.
important to say.
It wasn't important. Just wanted to thank him again for letting us stay at this campsite.
All right.
Well, if he's asleep, then we'll let him be. We can be off then.
All right. I
Sure.
agree.
you guys go through the efforts of breaking camp quite simply. And head back onto your boats, whole and intact.
Nice.
No poisoning, no murder.
No blood magic from the dagger, we think.
Yeah.
We like
That you
that.
know of.
Yeah, that's my point. That we know of. That we think. Alrighty.
All of your possessions
Uh,
intact.
Holgrim, you seemed to think that we were pretty close last night. Don't have to make a whole day's travels today?
Oh, we're close. And he confirmed it. He said it was not but a day.
Easily so. And
I think
Go
we
ahead.
do best to remember what we were told. We should treat them with respect, and you know, I know you guys aren't from the swamp, and you haven't maybe interacted with its life forms, but everything that lives out here does so for a reason. They got an edge of some sort, so make sure you're aware of it.
Right, we will respect the peoples of the swamp. No doubt they deserve it. Brent was telling me after a lot of you went to bed last night, and while we were watching, that there was one among them might speak common. And it looks a little bit taller and more frog-like than the rest. Perhaps if we find that one, we could communicate with them through him, if necessary, that is. They also said that being respectful and bowing to them might suffice anyway, but we can look out for that one.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Oh wait,
well,
who will be the one talking to the head bullywog?
Well, I think our
Uh.
resident swamp man might be the best suited one. Holgrim, could you do that for us, or would you rather somebody else do that?
Oh, that makes no difference to me.
Well, you are the most suited to the land. I think it's probably the best that you do it, if you don't mind.
Sure.
all right. And you guys begin on your way. Are you making any adjustments to your boat crewing situation?
I think the crew thing was fine.
All right.
yeah, I'm good with dwarfs.
Good with dwarfs and a potential dwarf. I mean, he's a druid. Druids can turn into animals, and you're an animal, so
Mm.
stands to reason that he could be a dwarf.
Well,
As it happens, you guys continue on your way, and while still early in the morning, the chorus that Holgrim, I believe it was Holgrim, was picking up on the day before, the cacophony of croaks and their such sounds grows in an odd but how would I describe it? An odd but
specific pattern, and anybody who is a native to this swamplands, or particularly relevant in music, can make a insight check.
That ain't me, that's for sure.
Sure.
Hard no.
Sounds like Holgrim and Ballywick Farthing. Who may
Maybe
be
Theo.
AFK. Oh yeah, true.
If she considers herself worthy.
Me?
Yeah, if you consider yourself capable.
I actually have no
of
idea what
pursuing-
class you are.
She's a
Ranger.
ranger.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Insight.
I had to think about what class I was for a little while today. Because we haven't really done any combat or anything.
No, you haven't. No, you
I
haven't.
was like, let me think. Oh,
We've already killed rats.
I did very much emphasize the fact that this would be a little bit slower campaign, and it is coming true. So Theo and Holgrim, to an extent, maybe Theo kind of keys in on this a little bit before Holgrim does, but Holgrim kind of gives his assent. The song that is coming together ahead of you to the north is loud, for one. And it also seems to be a song of mourning, not MORN, but with the U in there, and sorrow. Like you catch notes of that, where it's not as just like vivid, and there's not as much excitement or plain animal instinct to it. There's just some subtle notes of sadness into the interwoven song and sound of the swamp as you guys head further north.
I would inform everyone of that such. I think I don't know, it doesn't something might have happened. Or they might be maybe they're grieving from when what's her face was here. If that's the case, we best be very careful. Especially about mentioning who we're working for, why we're here.
Well,
Certainly.
Very
we could
well.
not mention any of that and pretend we're not affiliated at all with the other people from the city.
Yes, but you know,
Town.
I think they're intelligent creatures.
Yeah,
They might be able to put two and two together, you know, like, hey, this lady came wanting some stuff from the tree. We beat the shit out of her and she killed one of ours. And then
yes.
now we're here and we also want something from the tree. I mean, we need a story or something.
Well, yes, Holcomb, you should lie, is what I was, yes.
Well, what am I going to tell them?
Well, what lie do you think they would believe?
I don't know. I don't even know if they'll be able to understand me. What if it's the big one who's dead? Then they'll be really pissed.
I'll be right back as you guys discuss.
And I'll look back at Theo. Oh, this might be also a fine time to mention, since we have a moment. The gentleman last night was fishing, humming a tune, which we have heard before. And I suspect he was also on a boat, leaving the city after a rat's attacked. And I'm glad that we're all alive this morning, and it is a lovely day in the swamp.
Well, what makes you think he was the one?
Well, I haven't forgotten his name yet, but he didn't make us forget it either.
Well, you know, we met that girl who also did the thing. And the witch, she knew about it too.
Yes,
I'm
the
thinking-
witch knew, but it wasn't her, and the little girl's mind was corrupted. So it wasn't the little girl either.
Well, maybe you should have asked him about it, and if he said, well, shit, I don't remember, then we would know something.
No, I wanted to leave there alive. This is exactly why I didn't tell any of you.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that was the guy.
I don't think any man as scraggly as he was could possibly survive alone in the swamp.
You saw how many fish he caught. Enough to feed all 8 of us. Seems to me like he's doing
Yes.
just fine.
Strange that.
If you don't remember, the witch, she also played the song. That's how she, or whistled, or hummed, or whatever you want to call it. That's how she rustled in the crocodile. So clearly there's something going on out here that we're not aware of. Now,
It
it could
was
be him, but I don't know. I don't get the feeling the kind of guy like that would be so greeting towards us.
I
Oh,
will
that's
state
exactly
in.
who.
I don't believe that the hag woman did anything besides call Gresh's name.
Yeah, she didn't
Okay.
sing the song.
She
Yeah,
didn't sing a song.
Oh,
and Belinda would
The
remind
people-
Pilgrim that the thing that the little girl said was there was a man who could catch a lot of fish, and he was the one who taught her the song, but she couldn't remember the guy's name. And this guy's really good at fishing, like Pilgrim pointed out. Description-wise, it sounds like the guy.
well, it could be.
Well, indeed, that does sound a lot.
I don't know. It just seems weird to me that I feel like he wouldn't have been so well intentioned. I didn't get the feeling that he thought we were very dangerous.
Well, no,
Sometimes
not to
people
him.
lie.
Oh, look at
Of
yeah,
course
like
they do.
nod.
But it's harder. It's easier to lie with your words than with your demeanor.
Well,
People can be pretty convincing when they want to. I trust Belinda on this one.
Well, that's a real surprise, isn't it?
maybe I've just been around more liars than you, Pilgrim. Pilgrim.
And you never answer my questions, lady, and you just call me by the wrong name on every given moment.
I think I feel.
Still haven't told us what you're doing out here. Here we are working for scraps, and you come in wearing a dress worth more than anything I own.
I told
Seems
you I
weird.
was here to find myself. That was a very accurate description and very honest.
We need
That's what
coins
Mr.
too.
That's what Mr. Brent said he was doing, and you don't trust him for a lick.
Oh, no, I don't trust him.
Just pointing that out.
I didn't say you should trust me.
Well, that's weird.
It's just honest.
I just nod a little bit.
Anyway, I just wanted to cover that while we had a second.
I missed
Radio.
the primary portion of that to begin with, but I am not the immediate beneficiary of that knowledge, so I do not really care. All that to say, as you guys progressed upstream towards this supposed spawning bed area, I would like you all to make perception checks. As you notice, not long after you have this conversation, the song
Nice.
goes quiet.
Did we learn, by the way, or were we told what this sap is for?
No.
Can I try and discern that myself?
Yes, you can make a nature check. 14. So, from your own personal knowledge and the knowledge that was contained in the book that Galen gave you, the witchwood is called so because it behaves in a very odd way beyond any other tree. It waves and moves and reacts to the presence of other creatures. It snaps at, swings at creatures that get near it. Not to a particularly devastating effect. It's just spooky and weird. That's why they call it a witch. It's just spooky. And so its alchemical properties could be pertaining to that. You're drawing from the center and life of that tree. But to ascertain the effects that she's seeking in the potion might be a little bit beyond you
I'm not.
exactly.
I'm not necessarily wondering what she's using it for. More like I would like a reasonable thing to say we are going to need it for.
Hmm.
So it
Well,
doesn't you
the
know what I mean?
knowledge that I've just given you can perhaps allow you to come up with a lie. But other than that, I don't know what you could possibly think to use it for.
Okay. That's fine.
Wait,
Yeah.
well, I was kind of lost for a second. One more time, like what medicinal properties? I know it moves and everything else like that, but
There has not, and reviewing this section in Gallon's book by the Regents Company, it does not seem that they have yet discerned any medicinal qualities or anything of that regard. This is maybe a bit of extra research that this person has put into deciding that this is worth pursuing.
That lady did say the tree would whip us.
All right. Well then, I've
we
got
could make it a dying
I've got
request
my
of your
story.
grandmama, if you like, Fulgrim.
I'm gonna tell them about how my hut got destroyed. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say I'm gonna use the sap from the tree to imbue the limbs of a new hut, make it stronger, faster.
More wacky. All right, that works.
We can. I think we can rebuild it.
make it stronger. Make it better. Yes.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So as you guys are approaching, like I stated, you guys are having this conversation, and as you kind of return to the perception around you and taking time to really bring it in, you notice that the cacophony and carrying song that came from the north has died away, and the rather neutral and ambient sounds have returned and taken their heavier place in the prominence. Okri, as you guys are you're overhearing their conversation. You're keeping your eyes peeled, as you haven't, I don't think, made very many contributions to what they were talking about, but just vaguely listening while you keep your eyes peeled. You notice in the wood lines, as you guys are moving up, like effigies of humanoid figures, and you almost think to call out the first time you see one. She's like, "Oh no, there's someone watching us, someone looking at us." But within a few moments, you can see the brambleness, the wrapped vines, and wood that makes up these figures that are very crudely made, making up just these. Like I said before, I think effigies is probably the best word for it, of humanoid figures, and they're like hanging out in the trees, keeping an eye on you as you guys continue upriver. You make this known to the party. You're the only person to have realized it so far.
Me?
Yeah.
I will absolutely make it known to the party. There's eyes watching us. Look out there. You see them?
Literal? Well, there's not like actually people in them. Yes.
I mean,
Is that
it's just the eyes, right? I don't see whole humanoid beings.
They're like statues. That's what we said, right?
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, that's what an effigy means to
Right.
me.
Yeah. That I agree. They're like crudely constructed statues, right?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
figures. Yeah.
But it does seem
Oh.
like there's something out there that's constructed these things to watch the river.
Well. Do we know, or do I know, or can I try and see if I know? I assume since they're frog people, they're like pretty. I assume they like build their structures like on the water and stuff like that. Is that?
Yeah, you've seen you've encountered the hut of one of these creatures before.
Yeah. Does it
And
seem wise
there's
to
even
me
drawings of them in the book.
that we would approach on land as to not like go right into their? I mean, obviously, from like tactically, that's probably better because if we attack us, we're probably not fucked. But like, also maybe that would be less threatening to them or something.
Nothing necessarily states that they would be more generous to those who are on land as opposed to those who are on water.
Okay. I still think we should probably dock up and approach on foot if we are this close.
I think we'd all be a little bit more capable on the land. I agree. At the very least.
Oh, I don't want to see any more big fish.
I would suspect he doesn't.
Certainly not. Well, let's have at it then, and I'll start
Okay.
like pushing the boat over.
Sure. And so you guys are continuing your northward path, and as you guys are kind of disembarking, Story, you're hyper aware of this because of what has previously happened to you. But you point this out to Okri, who makes maybe a little bit better observation than you. As you guys are, disembarking, setting up these boats on the land, and then beginning your trek northward on foot, you kind of look back and there's just a moment of worry that crosses your face as you see a head in the water that is just it's large and scary looking with big bulging eyes.
Oh,
And in a moment it's gone.
oh boy.
It was in the water, not far off from where you perched your boat.
The big fish is still in the water.
I don't think it's a fish.
Like the one that almost tried to make me dinner.
That's not a fish, son.
It didn't look very nice.
It's closer to a dragon, honestly.
You might call it a water dragon. That's pretty reasonable.
Oh my.
A
But,
water drac.
But you just saw it for the briefest of moments. You swore it was there. You look back, and Okri looks back with you as you kind of call attention to it. And Okri, why don't you make another perception check?
Sure. 20.
20. You can see maybe further off, not the one that was exactly where he points at, but you just kind of like see where he pointed. You see just a faint ripple of water, and see that no, there's nothing there. But there might have been something there a moments ago.
There are
You scan
ripples
the-
on the water that aren't there before sometimes. I think we might be... Don't think we're quite alone out here.
You scan the rest of the water, and you notice there are a few pairs of eyes on you. Large,
Real eyes or...
bulging eyes, from heads that are just peeking the water's crest.
Do I see them as well?
Yeah, as he points them out to you, you can see them. At this point, he's pointing them out to you. It's maybe 60, 70, 80 feet off, 100 feet off in the water.
Okay.
There's maybe 7
Well,
of them in
I'll
total.
try. I'll attempt to like bow my head and say, "Hello, friends. We come in peace. We're just gonna dock the boat and we'd like to say hello and pay tribute to Big Toad. Big. And I'll give them a wave.
Absolutely. You see that most of the nearest heads dip underneath the water, and they do not readily appear to resurface. But and so your call seems to be unanswered. And as you kind of turn back to the north with the rest of your party, giving it a little bit of a shrug, when you guys begin your trek northward, we will.
Well, we wanted to dock the boat. I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah, we
you
wanna
did do
get off
that.
the water.
Yeah.
Oh, we did that. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You guys will pick up the session.
Well, then I
next
would have
time.
bowed. I just thought I was in the middle of a boat.
No. You did. I assume that you bowed. In my eyes, you did. You
Very
made
nice.
that moment. They maybe acknowledged it. Tough to tell. But we will see where we go from there next time in the adventures in the mire.
In the mire.
In the mire. Thanks,
Next
slower
time we're
session.
playing is
The 18th would
is
be
that
our
the
next session.
18th? Yeah.
That would be.
Sounds good.
Not mine next week, and then are we back on the 25th for
Uh,
mine?
Are you gonna be here, Theo?
Next week?
No.
Not next week.
The 18th.
Yes.
Sweet.
are.
That's pretty good.
Very nice. Wait, so
You're making me second guess what days I'm going now.
well, you said 8. Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm dumb.
But yeah, that's all I have for you tonight. I don't want to get too much into what would happen next, as it probably would take a little while. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with our adventures and their decisions to be made in the future moments when we get there. I am looking forward to it. I think that we are seeing a little bit more of our characters come out. I like it.
Yeah, it's been good.
Sweet.
We're good.
Very fun.
Very creepy.
Yeah, I like the creepy vibe.
There's no
Creepy.
There's no. Oh, what are you guys talking about? There's nothing creepy going on.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
Just your
No,
normal,
not
not
at all.
creepy skin map.
It's your normal, not creepy skin map. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
course.
go. As it is, as all things happen. All right. Well, yeah, you're free. Get out of here. Go to bed. It's 11:05 at my time. Sleepy time.
Yeah.
How much of a shithole is Kansas City?
It's
not.
not that bad.
Okay, because Honeywell's been contacting me like, hey, you want to work in Kansas City? I'm like, I don't know.
Kansas
Kansas City's
City's got good
nice.
barbecue, bro.
Yeah, they got a lot of
Kan-
good food and bars.
Kansas
and stuff.
City is probably the nicest big city you could live in.
Okay.
I mean, I've been to like Denver, Chicago, Phoenix. I mean, I've been to a good number of big cities, and I would say Kansas City is, well, obviously it's smaller than all of those places. It's definitely nicer than all of those places.
That's what makes
Yeah.
it nicer, honestly, bro.
I would be open to living there.
Yeah.
He has like literally no bearing on who you are and like your values.
Yeah. So whatever that's worth, I think you should. That's all you need to know to make this decision.
It's like some guy who just, he's like a devout Sharia law person says, I would be willing to live in Taliban, Afghanistan.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Thank you. But I'm looking at barbecue places and I'm thinking, I like meat, and they got some meat there.